Hey everyone, it's Jason. Got a short little video for Final Girl, the solo horror survival game. So this is a video to kind of just do a quick one to show the differences sort of between Ultimate Box 1, Ultimate Box 2. I don't currently have 3, otherwise I could also do that one as well. But that's probably not gonna even be out of Kickstarter until probably January, February. I don't know when I'll actually get it. So I didn't want to wait that long. I wanted to get this out there. So this is going to be quick because I'm not going to go and open up every single little thing and show off every piece. I've done separate videos on both of these boxes. I've done videos, unboxings for each separate feature film. So I just kind of wanted to go through and talk a little bit about them together in the same thing. So ultimately what it's going to come down to, first of all, is preference. Is one box better than the other? That's an objective question that I can't say, yes, this is better than that. Because some people are going to like certain killers over other killers. Some people are going to like locations over other locations. Some will like Final Girls over another Final Girl. Plus, it also depends on what you previously owned. If you bought a bunch of stuff from one series while it was coming out, and then you decided to go back and you wanted to get a lot of the stuff from the other one, it might be more beneficial to buy the Ultimate Box, as opposed to trying to pick up every little piece individual. And the same note, if you already picked up a couple of boxes, even though there are some exclusive stuff in the Ultimate Boxes or the storage boxes, depending on how you can find them, it might not be, you'll have to justify your cost whether it's trying to pick those things up separately or trying to pick them up as a group. So what I mean by that, just as a quick thing here. So in each box, I'll slide these forward a little bit more, get a little bit better look at them. So in each box, we're of course going to have our cast and crew, which is an empty box inside the storage container. But then it'll store all your Final Girls for the set and all your miniatures as well as the vignette. And then we have the bonus features, which has extra epic dark finale cards, as well as it'll hold a bunch of the books, which most of them don't come in here, but it does have like consolidated rule books. So ignoring all the rest of them, these two are pretty much roughly the same, whether you want one or not. But if you're trying to find these particular cases or the cards in them, and you already own like 3 of the expansions, that'll be up to your choices. You'll have to price check to see whether if you want the playmat, if you want the core box or the prop box, depending on which set you're looking for. Whether all that extra stuff is going to be worth just ignoring the fact you've already bought 3 of these and then rebuying the full box, or trying to find this stuff individually. I can't say again whether that's going to be worth it to you or not, because that might depend on like now versus later versus when you purchase it. Because you might find an Ultimate Box on sale. You might find these on sale. Someone might be selling these cheap because they don't care. Who knows? Again, then for the 5 killers for each 5 feature films for each one, that's 100% up to you. Not having played through every single one, especially extensively enough and mixing and matching everything to sit there and be like, oh yeah, this one, this one, this one. I will generally say by going through them all and looking at all this stuff is not necessarily say that the first 5 are easier, but they're generally simpler mechanics versus the Series 2, which has, I think, a little bit more intricate mechanics in it. And basically the difference there is because in Series 2, you have a evolving character that's going to keep changing. You have multiple characters. You have a hidden character. You have a character that's going to change things. And you have one that has a bunch of minions. So each one kind of has, like, I mean, every killer automatically has their big gimmick. Plus, each location has its own special things as well. Like using special tokens to access certain areas or be able to destroy things. The helicopter in here. A couple of things like that. But then again, this also has all their own stuff too. Obviously, Hans is supposed to be kind of like the original, the first game. It's the most simple, the most streamlined of all of them. But even stuff like the Poltergeist has stuff where you can't attack her. You can't attack her. You have to do other things to be able to win. Inkabaya and the Sacred Groves have their divine powers, and divine wrath, which add extra stuff. Geppetto just has a couple of extra minions running around as well. But his are going to be a little bit different than the other minions in the other game. And Dr. Fright has a thing, he comes in and out of the game and has the boiler room. So they each of the locations each have their own little things as well. So I think not to like say these are bad or anything, or it's not like this is step A, this is step B. I think it's kind of how it is like introductory, a little bit more difficult, but it doesn't mean that these are any better or worse than the other ones. Sometimes it's just having simpler mechanics in a game doesn't make the thing easier in itself. It just means it might be easier to learn how to play it. But it doesn't mean it's going to make it less difficult. And then the other thing the two boxes are potentially going to have different is this one would have the core game, which you need to play. So if you buy the full Ultimate box, if you buy Series 1, you will get the core box in there. Series 2 can come with either the box of props or it could come with the core box. So definitely check to see which one you're getting because they released it with both for people that didn't have the other one. The box of props adds some really fun stuff in there because it adds the Ultimate dice, Desperation dice, some upgraded tokens, some extra promo characters. So that by itself might be hard to find because people might want all that upgraded stuff or especially the promo characters. So that's something else to keep in mind, which one you're getting for that reason. But again, so it's overall, it's what it is. So the only thing I can objectively really compare for sure between the two of them, which is more of the point I want to do the video, were the playmats. There are playmats for Series 1, playmats for Series 2. So you might decide which one of those you want. Because again, if you could find the empty storage box, you could buy the storage box. You would have maybe stuff to hold all this stuff, hold all that. You could find the box of props with the empty box. Maybe not have the feature film. You can just pick up every feature film as you go along. So there's always that option, possibly that option too. Just again, just keep an eye on when you are ordering stuff that you watch what you're ordering. So we're gonna look at the playmats quick. All right, so here is the Series 1 playmat. Let me shove these guys more out of the way so we have a little bit more room here. And we can kind of angle our camera down a little bit more. So this is the playmat for Series 1 for the player board. So it's fairly simple. Everything's on here. So we have our big extra thing. Let me just grab the other one right away, and we'll just compare them side by side. Some people might like one, some might like the other. It's not necessarily one is better than the other. They're different, and that's the key to this. I'm going to stand up and move these. You're in my way, and you're in my way. Alright, so basically what Series 2, which is on the top, does is it adds some extra spaces on the board for additional things that might happen. So if we look over on this side here, so in Series 1, we have a nice big horror thing. Do you need it to be this big? Not necessarily, but it is nice and open. But otherwise, we share a lot of the same stuff. We have the play area, spot for the final girl down here. Health bar, your health tokens. They just kind of shrunk it down a little bit. Here it's a little bit bigger because they made some of these areas a little bit bigger, but they shrunk that down a little bit. So again, size-wise, that's your call. We have the spot for our items in hand, which are the same. We have a spot for backpack, which holds 4. We have a spot over here that holds all our cards, so 0 cost items, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4 regular cards, and then we have at the top, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they added a space for an extra card in there because they shrunk that down, so they got an extra card in here. So that's kind of helpful as well, if you like that, if you have extra things. But then they also added on the side here. So this has a little spot for dead victims. That has up there. On Series 2, they also added a spot for your terror deck, active character cards, and also special action cards. So you have 14 total spots for cards here versus 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, never mind. These areas are the exact same. I just miscounted. So basically what they did is on the outside edge there, they shrunk some stuff down. They added some room for your terror deck and your special action cards, which could be like the flying or atonement and stuff like that, depending on the location and the killer. So that's kind of what it is. Do you need an extra slot specifically for them? Not necessarily. But they just added them on there. Now, I will point out in the second playmat for Series 1, they do have a spot for your terror cards as well. This just adding an extra spot for them extra cards. So otherwise, normally you'd have to have them probably sitting off the board. So some people might like them, but again, not every game is going to use that. So it's kind of the difference there. So really, based on these two, is which one you want. Do you want those extra slots up there for those cards? Or do you want the bigger terror icon? Again, 100% up to each player. Then we have the second playmat. So we'll put Series 2 up there. And then we'll put Series 1 down here. So I have to unroll quick. Now, there's a couple of things in here that people might like or dislike in here. So a couple of things. So these are a lot more different than each other. So in Series 1, we have the killer board, location board. Then over here, we have a spot for the event deck with 1, 2, and 3. Terror deck, which again was on the other one. On the other second one. So if you're mixing and matching, you're going to have 2 spots for terror cards now. Then it has a spot here for your 3 extras. Now, I like this as an idea if you're finding you're using this a lot, but you don't have to find an extra card hole for it. But again, you might find yourself rarely ever using these. So then you just have empty slots on the board. Plus, then we also have a spot for victim pool, plus the other special meeples. You can throw those guys up there. Then I did kind of like this where they have them colored orange and green, blue for the event. And then we have our minor dark powers over here. We have 3 spots for those. So it's still laid out pretty well. All your killer stuff will be on there. Location will be there. Everything else kind of off to the side. Now, in Series 2, they did change this up a little bit. They had the killer board still here, but then they added extra spots in here in case you're playing as the vignettes. Because they don't have a board, just so you know where those go. That special film feature board. So if you have one that has a special extra set of cards or long cards or anything that go on there, they added a space in there to put those. Plus also on the other side, special feature film cards. This could be stuff for like the divine powers or other things like that that would go on here. Helicopter spot maybe. Just other things you're keeping track of. They have the 3 dark powers at the top, so that stayed the same. We have a victim pool, which has basically the same thing. They just moved it a bit. Then they did put the location over here, so they kept all the film stuff over here, the board stuff, and then they put all the location stuff. So they did change a couple of things. So in the event, they have setup at the top, event deck, starting event, and then 4 other events. So they added 2 more event spots. This is kind of nice because there's some of these sets that will go through events a lot more often than other ones, and some of them stick around, so having 2 extra event spots isn't a terrible thing to have. Otherwise, again, if you just get there, you just lay them off the side of the board or stack them however. And then they also kind of edited the item a little bit because they have the 3 item decks plus a bonus item deck, which could be for like in the Asylum, you have the pill deck, or you have the crafted item deck for the wolf or the Wingard Cottage, or the test results for the station. Some of that different stuff might have extra ones there. There's a little tiny asterisk at the top that just says additional components, and the map may not be presented in all games. It's not going to be a bonus item in all game. It's not going to be these bonus tracks or the vignette stuff in every game. So again, is one better than the other? Not necessarily. The Second one, try to add more spaces for every card, which I think is kind of nice if you're learning how to play the game. So that way you know right where everything kind of has a spot. This one, I do love the color coding. I kind of wish that had stayed on the other one. And then these are kind of nice if you find you're using these rather than having to use them cards extra. But again, that's just, of course, that just means you're going to have one set of things that's going to possibly be sitting off the board somewhere where everything else kind of has a place. But yeah, it's up to you. You can also mix and match them too. If you really like this design, you can go ahead and use that. And then you can flip over and use this board if you like the bigger style there. Again, the only thing is if you do that, you're not going to have any spot listed for your terror deck or your cards here. But that's something you could easily, just set something aside there. Or alternatively, you could use the one board for one for the other. You don't want all this extra stuff, but you like the bigger spot. You could do that. Or extra stuff, and you can keep this. It's mix or match. Is one better than the other? No. If you really like to use these mats, I think either one will work. For the majority, you just might either have spots for extra cards when you need them, or you might have empty spots if you don't have them cards. Really up to you on how you'd like to do that. But I did want to show that off. So that's kind of what I have for this video on set 1 versus 2. It's 100% up to each other. The only thing you're getting realistically from one box to the other that's not going to be in the other box is if Series 2 has that box of props. If it was just upgraded components, just like the upgraded meeples or heart tokens, I would say, it's a visual upgrade. It's not really that necessity, but since it comes with new characters and new cards, new actions and stuff like that, if you're only going to be able to buy one of these boxes to play with, and you're not going to be able to afford the other one for whatever reason, but you're going to pick up all the other sets separate, and you're not really concerned about the storage aspect, but trying to buy all the content, I would get Series 2 with the box of props. If you can find the box of props out separately, which it is available as a separate purchase as well, and you find that, then it comes back to whichever one you want. Just make sure you're watching so you don't end up buying stuff you already own, or the core box, or you don't buy a storage box that's all empty and has none of the feature films and think it does. Hopefully be able to tell the price point, because if you're buying just the box by itself, I would imagine most people are going to sell it for like maybe $30, $40 versus $100+ for everything. But then again, if you're looking on eBay, sometimes people might upcharge that and be like, hey, it's hard to find this box of props and these other storage containers, and they might sell the box itself for $100. So just keep an eye on what you're buying. That's what I got for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this Final Girl video. See you guys later. Bye.